Hey, Christy Mattoon here from Mind Rewire. I'm going live today, so hopefully this will go through really well. What we're talking about again is vibrations. I have so many people contacting me, sending me emails, asking me questions about vibration. And one of the biggest questions I keep getting is, what is that? How do I understand it? How do I relate it to my own personal life? And so I want to go on and talk about vibrations for just a second so you can understand it in your tense so that it makes a little bit more sense. So vibration, quite literally, is how you feel. That's it. It's very simply a feeling that you probably have inside of your body. Now, one of the things I hear commonly from clients is that they don't feel anything. So we'll get into a space of the heart and they just don't feel anything. And literally, they're so blocked out, like you've created so many walls and such a structure around your heart that you might not be feeling. And that's literally the way it's described, is I just don't feel anything. So we work to turn that back on. But if you look at what vibration is, we talk about energy and how the energy of atoms are always moving. And so everything has an energy, everything has a vibration. Everything around you, if you get really in tune to the vibration of things, you can place your hand over things and feel a vibration. You can feel the vibration of somebody else's intention. You can feel the vibration of somebody else pretty much in, just standing next to you. You can feel it. You can feel illness inside your own body that's not yours. You can feel emotion inside your body that's not yours. And that's where some of this can get a little bit confusing for people. If they're feeling things that aren't theirs, they're feeling a vibration, and you just assume it's yours when it's not, that can be an issue. So we want to understand and then take care of ourselves in that manner. But the vibration itself, the easiest way to understand it is it's a feeling. And so then ask yourself, well, what's a feeling? And I'm not talking about all the little labels. I'm not talking about angry, hurt, upset, happy, joyful, bliss, like whatever you want to label it. There's a multitude of labels that we put to vibration, we put to feeling. At the very basic of it, at the very underneath of it, it's the chemicals and hormones inside your body. That's where it starts in this physical plane that we're in this physical location. It's the chemicals, the hormones that you produce inside your own body, that you actually have some essence of control of, which makes all this interesting. Because we know that within 30 seconds, you can go from feeling angry to feeling super happy. We see people do it all the time. I used earlier the example of a child in a store throwing a temper tantrum. All the screaming and yelling, and all it takes is his mother to walk up and distract him or put his focus somewhere else, and all of a sudden he's calm and, sometimes very excited because maybe she's bribing him with something better, right? And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's how quickly you can change your own focus, you can change your own emotion, you can change your own feeling state, okay? So understanding that it's the chemicals inside of your body. And then we talk about the subconscious mind, the concept of the subconscious mind. And I call it a concept because it is a concept. We can't really locate it. We don't really know where it is. And I think it was Freud that originally came up with the concept to be able to describe the way the body stores emotion and stores energy. And we took it on like it was some kind of truth, that this subconscious, or this idea of this subconscious mind, is like hidden from you and you can't really understand it or feel it or know it, but you can bring things that are subconscious into the conscious, which is how we become aware of stuff all the time. So you actually do this a lot. And when you become aware of it consciously, then it's easier to take care of it. So it's kind of interesting in that regard too, but you have to be aware enough of what's your vibration, where you're at, and then that you can do something different to shift it, okay? So vibration is emotion. Emotion is the feeling. Emotion is actually the tag. It's the words we put to it. It's the feeling inside your body that you'll get inside different areas of your body. And it comes from the chemicals and hormones that you express as a human. You can change it easily just by making a decision to change it. Focusing on something else will help you change your vibration. So if I'm stuck on something, we say all the time, people have blocks and we're stuck and it's hard, and all the words that we put to this idea, that's very simply resistance. It's resistance to whatever else is really going on or what it is that you actually want, right? Whatever it is you're working on. And so then we equate that back to the subconscious and we start thinking about it. And the polarity of your brain makes this even stickier, because the polarity of the brain gives you yeses and nos. It helps you create these lists that we were taught to create for pros and cons, right? The do's and don'ts, the shoulds and shouldn'ts, the cans and won'ts. I don't know, the whole back and forth. And that's where you get really caught up inside here, and we lose the ability to feel. Or when we do feel, we shut it down because we don't believe that what we're actually feeling from a heart space, could be truth. And we want those feelings. This is where truth lies. This is not polarity. Your heart can't do polarity. Your heart only does feeling, right? It stores emotion. It stores memory also, just like your brain can. We know now that there's actually neurotransmitters on the outside of the heart. So we know that it can also store information. But inside the heart, all you can do is transmute information into love or compassion. If you take something from your brain into your heart and hang out there long enough, you're going to notice that it starts to change. And it will turn into some form of love or compassion. And for yourself, because it's your heart, you'll get a whole different line and a whole different understanding on what's going on around you in your environment when you run it through your heart instead of your head. Whole different way of being. I hate to use the word thinking because your heart doesn't really think, it just feels. It can give you other information. In fact, it will most times, especially if you start asking questions inside the space of your heart. You can get answers, right? And some people will say that's their higher self or God or the universe or spirit, whatever you want to say to that, call that. But you have to understand that it's about this vibration. It doesn't matter what other technique you're using. It doesn't matter if you're into stones, and I'm just looking over there because I have tons of them sitting on a shelf, or oils, or all the little things that are external to our internal body. Doesn't matter if you're into all of that stuff or not. Inside, we truly have everything we need on board. You can produce the chemical reaction to heal your body, to change anything you want, to meet the vibration of the thing you're trying to manifest. It's all the same thing at the end of the day. It's so interesting. And if you can keep your vibration high, if you can keep that feeling level high, and it doesn't mean you're running around laughing and being crazy all day long. It just means that you are in better spirits, which makes your body feel better, which makes you have those higher level chemicals, like a cascade into the good stuff instead of the cascade into the bad stuff that we normally get. Now, I just got off the phone with a guy, and he was saying he's got a background kind of similar to mine that was full of trauma and issues and insult and injury. And he went on, and he goes, it's those things that I get caught up thinking about, because he remembers he gets caught up thinking about, and how do you walk away from that? Literally with vibration, because the vibration, if it's high, love is a good vibration regardless of how you feel it or what takes you there to feel it. Does that make sense? So if I fall in love with another human being, that gives me the feeling of love. If I'm outside and I'm just like in love with creation, and I'm just like feeling this massive sense of gratitude, the chemicals are pretty similar. They're pretty close to the same. So I'm in a higher vibration. I think it's Christy Sheldon that says love or above, and love is a vibration of 500. And I don't know where that number comes from, but right, if that's what it is, use it. If numbers help you, right? So love or above, you want to be at that vibration. When you add the idea or the thought of something that you're working on, that you want, in its complete form, not like a process, not like progress through it, you want it in its completed form. in that feeling of love, in that higher vibration, that's how we bring stuff to us faster. That's how we get to the end of whatever it is you're working on in a quicker way. Does that make sense? So if you're stuck thinking about things that are bringing you down, or you're stuck in a situation that's bringing you down and keeping you in a low vibration, what I do with people is I literally help them train their bodies to feel that higher vibration so that it becomes a natural go-to. You want that trained and entrained so deeply into your cells and into your senses that no matter what happens around you, you might be upset for a second, but you can immediately get back to that better vibration quicker and without any, I don't even know, it just like happens in a snap when you can really do it and you're aware of it. It's quick, it's fast, it's easy, and you want that entrained into your system. Because if you get stuck thinking about the negative stuff, your vibration will come down, which means you're expressing chemicals of stress, cortisol, maybe adrenaline. The deeper you go into it, the further you allow yourself, and it's like periods of time, right? The longer you sit in that, you're going to feel depressed. You're going to get anxious. You're going to have all the sadness and anger and weird things that go on in that level of chemicals. So you have to recognize it and then make a decision to focus on something that makes you feel better. And it sounds kind of silly, I think, to some of us. If you were born in a home of trauma and that's all you know, and this is what this guy and I were talking about, was what if you don't know what happiness feels like? What if you don't know what love feels like? What if you're not sure that like the highest vibration you can reach is at least the feeling of being able to escape? I was there for years. That's what my life felt like for years. And so for him, it was actually the birth of his daughter. When she was born, it was the first time he can recognize that he actually felt love. And then he's like, but I've never had an incident happen like that would make me feel it again. I'm like, but you have the memory of it. And so we went back to the memory and we just brought that back up. And guess what he got? He got this huge hit of great chemicals. And he was like, oh, because once you've done it, once you've been there, once you know it, you can go back to it. It's no different than all the negative stuff we go back to. Once you've done it, once you've been there, once you've seen it, once you know it, you can go back to it just with a thought. You don't have to if you don't want to. Training the subconscious is literally training every cell of your body. It's not a place in your mind. It's not a place outside of you, I don't believe. I think that's part of it, but it's not only there. It's every cell of your body has information. And if we can give every cell of your body better information, guess what happens? In an instant, you feel better. The trick is you got to learn how to walk around in it. The trick is you have to train your system to be that person. You have to train yourself to be that way all the time. And that's where what I do is really helpful. I get you to that high vibration, and then we start training it into the system. You literally start go out and start walking around in it, right? It's no different than a person playing sports or doing something in a repetitive manner to get it to stick in their system. Only it happens faster because we stick it in the subconscious first. We train it to your cells first, so the feeling comes back to you quicker and easier. The goal is to keep growing out those neural pathways and get those synapses close enough together that it fires quickly, that it comes to you all the time. And that's really the goal of all of it, because that's what's happening to you anyway, just with the negative stuff. So we want to get the positive stuff stuck inside of you so that you can feel it all the time. The heart is a huge mechanism in this, huge mechanism. You have to recognize that if you're thinking, you're in polarity. If you're feeling, you're in your heart. If you're in polarity, you're in your brain. If you're in your heart, you're just feeling. If you can learn to recognize the good feelings and go with the good feelings, all day long, you're going to feel better and better and better. But you have to recognize them. You've got to train it into your system, and then you have to keep holding on to it. And that's really the goal of this whole lifetime. Can you recognize the face of God? That's what I call it. When I'm looking into nature and I'm just like staring into all the goodness that's around me, my goal is to keep my eyes on God. And whatever that means for you, whether it's nature or just a better feeling, it makes it easier for me knowing that there's more out there than just this. And when I can tap into that, whew, man, all bets are off. I can do pretty much anything I want to do. And I have been able to for probably 4 or 5 years at this point. It's gotten pretty incredible, actually. So my suggestion is find something else to feel. If you're feeling depressed, anxious, hurt, lost, sad, angry, any of the lower level emotions, what we would consider lower level of emotions, find somewhere to place yourself strategically where you can see something that will give you a better feeling. And I have all kinds of videos on here and on Instagram and Facebook, probably they get moved everywhere, of me outside walking around. And I'll take you for walks with me where I'm just like holding my camera and you can bounce along with me as I'm walking around. And the reason is literally to get into nature, to feel nature, to get the vibration, because nature doesn't have polarity. It just is. Nature is just awesome. And you can make it good or bad depending on what's going on around you, but nature just gives you a good vibration. So that's where I start with some of mine, is staying out every morning into nature and taking my walk. Every morning, get out and do something. The walk by itself produces better neurochemicals in your system. It gives you those good neurotransmitters from like exercise, right? So you automatically get a boost there. And then if you're watching the sunrise or the sunset, or you see Bambi walking across the street, which I did this morning, you get this really nice, lovely set of chemicals just flowing through your system. And then the second I feel it, my goal and intention in those walks is to feel something like that, and then to hang on to it and try and keep walking. So even when I walk past Bambi, I'm still just holding on to that level of excitement that I just got to see that. Does that make sense? And then you keep walking, holding on to that. And so then even when I come around the corner and the cop is sitting on the side of the road, and this literally happened this morning. First I saw Bambi and I'm like, and then I see the cop getting out of his car holding a rifle, and he's walking towards a house. And he looked up at me and he pointed the other direction, and I just turned around and I kept walking. Like, I don't know what was about to go down, but in that moment, I was still holding on to my higher level feeling. And in that moment, I became aware enough, hey, I'm going to send some of that to him too, right? Get some good feeling around him. So whatever was about to transpire, and I never heard anything, so I'm guessing it turned out well. But that's literally how you can do it. It's a good way to start. If you need it trained into your subconscious, that's where you would contact somebody for help, somebody like me or whoever else you use. I'm pretty open to and responsive. So if you need help, let me know. I don't know who's on here right now, but bless you for being here. I'm always grateful when folks jump on here with me. I hope this helps. If you have questions, please ask below. Leave comments, share this if it helped you. It might help somebody else too. And I will be doing this again soon. And actually what I'm going to do is start breaking apart vibrations and how you can use it differently in different focuses in different areas. So I have a whole little running list of stuff that I've been talking to people about. And we'll start going through those soon in subsequent videos. All right, blessings and peace. Thanks again for being here.